It began as such a simple idea. A totally free service that would connect people all over the world. But few of us could ever imagine what it would become.
So, social media still has so much potential for good.
The problem is that the evidence is overwhelming, that right now, social media is doing way more harm than good. I mean, when you look at the alarming rates of depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and suicide, especially among teenagers.
So how did something that started out so good end up causing so much harm? Remember that day a friend sent you that invitation to enter into the social media club? What you probably don't remember is reading through those terms and conditions.
Facebook's terms and conditions is over 15,000 words long. It would take more than an hour of solid reading. I mean, who do you know that would do that? Nobody. Yet we all signed our name to the dotted line and said, I agree. But we're only now realizing what we actually agreed to.
There's a famous saying, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. And it's true. When you accepted those terms and conditions, you essentially gave up your privacy. And while these tech companies have denied things like spying using your microphone and enabling your webcam, there's no doubt that their personal assistants are constantly listening, collecting data on what you say, which is why you can have a deeply private conversation with a friend, then the next time you scroll through your feed, you see an ad for whatever it was you were talking about.
I mean, these platforms are collecting thousands of data points that then get analyzed by supercomputers running AI models that now know you better than you know yourself. The scariest part is they're using all of that behavioral data to attempt to change how you think, what you believe, what you're scared of, and how you act. Then they sell that power to the highest bidder, whether it's a company trying to change your brand preference, or a pharmaceutical giant pushing a vaccine, or even a group who wants to influence your vote. And there's absolute proof of all three.
Every photo, every click, every share, every like. Without even knowing it, you've been building your digital twin. In a world where personal data is the new fossil fuel, you've handed over the keys to the entire pipeline. And now, it's being used against you, in most cases, without you even knowing it's happening.
The real issue is, when you realize platforms like Facebook, Google, TikTok, whatever you use, they're not just showing you what your friends are posting. They're serving you enough to make you feel like it's a place to connect with friends, but then they mix in content that fits their agendas. Whatever that is that their algorithm knows will keep you on their platform longer. And then they serve you content that can be incredibly manipulative.
All these tech companies spying on us, it's a $3 trillion a year industry. Think about that. Just about every industry now uses the data these platforms collect to sell us more stuff. Data is now the most profitable industry on the planet.
So what did you get in return for this lucrative trade of your personal information? Have you ever received so much as a dime for your invaluable data?
Algorithms don't have ethics. They're designed to do one thing and to do it well, and that is hit shareholder targets. Studies have shown the most profitable way to do that is to serve up controversial, often negative content that gets us emotionally charged. Why? Because it keeps us engaged, it keeps us on the platform longer, and that means more ad dollars for shareholders.
This whole negative spiral is what makes these platforms so dangerous. When we get emotional, we're just wired to be more impressionable. It feeds our anger, it keeps us on edge, it divides us, and that's when all of that information inside our digital twin is most effectively used against us.
So how did social media with such immense potential for good go so wrong? It's because the moment we handed over our data, we handed over control. We became products in an economy driven by algorithms that feed us exactly what they know will keep us engaged, no matter the cost to our mental health, our relationships, or even our safety.
But what if there was a way to change all of that? and end the control of faceless algorithms. Okay, what if you could go back to when social media was simple? Strictly a tool to connect with our friends, our family, and the people that you select to follow. Nothing else.
Reintroducing Parler, a platform for the people, by the people. Parler is engineered to be completely different. No algorithms, no manipulation. Just a pure feed of the people you choose to follow. No one else decides what you see. No one else controls your experience. Parler is social media as it was meant to be, built on the foundation of freedom.
Parler is a movement that began in 2018, during a time when popular voices were being censored by big tech. It emerged as a microblogging site that was an alternative to Twitter. And it took off fast because it was the only platform at the time that had the courage to protect the right to freedom of expression. And it didn't deplatform anyone. This was around the time when Trump was banned from Twitter. Other conservative voices with significant influence also moved to Parler. And at its peak, Parler had nearly 20 million users in over 100 countries. Big tech, seeing this movement and with no legitimate reason, single-handedly decided to silence these conservative voices, along with millions of others overseas, when they pulled the plug on Parler.
Millions of people all around the world with different political views, many totally indifferent to US politics, silenced by some American woke agenda. This just proves that when you give all the power to the big tech oligarchs, they can pretty much do whatever they want, like cutting off 20 million people who could care less about politics from connecting with each other. But despite having no public platform, the Parler community remains passionately engaged.
Now, to understand the next part of our story, you need to know one critical detail. And that is that every major social media platform out there, with the sole exception of Meta, runs on a third-party cloud. I mean, we're talking TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, Telegram, LinkedIn. None of these run on their own independent cloud. So they're all relying on big tech to keep them running. However, when Parler relaunched in 2023, it did so on its very own Parler cloud, making it one of just 2 companies in the world to run a major social platform on its own independent cloud. This gave Parler total and complete freedom, free from the influence and control of big tech and beyond the reach of any threat of again being shut down. This unprecedented independence ensures Parler can and will operate totally uncensored with complete autonomy and without compromising its core values.
It also means people have true freedom of speech without worrying about censorship or getting banned. It's a safe space where you can share your ideas and interact in a constructive way with those who have differing ideas without fear of being silenced.
Now, by default, Parler is an ad-free platform. However, if you decide to sell your data, you decide the kinds of ads you see, and you earn the profits. You get paid 70% of what advertisers pay to show you their ads. This rewards you for something you're already doing every day.
With Parler, your data is yours. Every post, every click, all under your complete control. You and only you get to decide if anyone is allowed to see or profit from your data. And if you say they can, you get the vast majority of the profits.
What makes Parler truly unique is its complete absence of any algorithm. No hidden agendas, no manipulation. In fact, Parler doesn't even show you ads unless you decide to enable them. Your feed is exactly as it should be. Posts from the people and organizations you've chosen to follow. Nothing else. Presented in the order people post them, with no favoring and no ranking, just a raw algorithm-free timeline. This is what sets Parler apart from every other social platform. But what really gets people excited is how they go one step further by rewarding users for making a positive impact. To power this reward system, Parler selected the Optio blockchain with its Optio digital reward.
The Optio token is the reward that channels constructive participation. Instead of penalizing people for behaving badly, Optio rewards them for doing just the opposite. Think of these rewards kind of like Sky Miles. With SkyMiles, the more you fly, the more discounts and free flights you get, right? Then SkyMiles went out and formed partnerships with hotels, rental cars, theme parks. Then a whole marketplace sprang up that accepted SkyMiles as payment. And that is exactly what's happening right now with the Optio token.
A blockchain is basically a network of thousands of computers all owned and operated by individual, everyday people, just like you and I. These computers provide the storage, the processing power, electricity, and the bandwidth. Anyone can participate. You simply buy and install the Optio node software on your computer or in the cloud. This turns your computer into one of the worker bees of the blockchain. Node operators are rewarded by earning a generous share in the daily distribution of Optio tokens.
So what can you do with these tokens? Well, there will soon be thousands of merchants inside the Optio marketplace where you can spend your Optio rewards. And if you want to, you can even convert rewards to cryptocurrency, then convert that crypto to cash.
In the future, there will be 3 ways to get Optio tokens. First, you can buy them out of the market. Second, you can earn them by taking positive actions inside the Parler app. And third, you can earn them at a much higher rate every single day when you install and run your licensed Optio node software.
It's time to take back control of your data. It's time to stop the manipulation. It's time to start getting paid for using social media. It's time to break those chains. With Parler, you're finally being set free. Free to keep your connections and your freedoms. Free to speak, free to share, and free to profit from what's rightfully yours, your data. And with your Optio node, you have the chance to not just participate, but to own part of the movement.
Parler was the very first app to use the Optio blockchain, but it didn't take long for others to catch on. Developers quickly saw the power of connecting to the blockchain and plugging into the rewards system, and now there's a growing collection of Optio Oracle apps. It's not just big names like Parler. Many new startups are connecting, like Play TV and Burst, 2 platforms that are disrupting the world of long and short-form video, rewarding users with Optio tokens when they create and engage with content and build up their communities. Oracle apps running today include those that offer Web3 finance, e-commerce, cloud storage, enterprise hosting, and much more. And the most exciting part is that this is just the beginning.
Anytime you're trying to change the world, the most challenging part is simply getting the ball rolling, right? Well, the fact that this movement is starting with almost 20 million people who all have the Parler app on their phone and are passionate about building something that can't be taken from them again. I mean, that's just unheard of.
Optio is already one of the largest blockchain projects on the planet, a revolution built on the power of freedom. Together, Parler and Optio is a movement that will not be stopped.
Just imagine a world where social media is purely about the people, not about profits. Social media still has the potential to do so much good. It still has the power to unite us, to allow us to engage in meaningful conversations, to break down barriers, to break apart what divides us.
You can have your belief, and I can have my belief. We can still talk, but that is only possible when you create true freedom. It doesn't serve anyone to have some faceless algorithm stir up division between us. Constructive debate with true freedom of speech is what the world needs right now.
If 2 citizens living in 2 countries, one being oppressed by the other, could just talk openly and honestly without censorship, instead of having oligarchs controlling and influencing the conversation. This is what Parler and the Optio blockchain has created.
Parler's successful relaunch is really just the start of how the Optio blockchain can impact technology projects into the future. Each of the Oracle apps are already making a difference in the world, and the Optio token is a huge factor in driving this. By using these tokens to reward loyal customers and to help attract new ones, these projects have a major advantage to help them grow faster than ever before.
So join the movement. Own your data, own your voice. Parler and the Optio blockchain. Both built for freedom, both powered by you.